A stout, remarkably secretive primitive canine native to the seasonal broadleaf woodlands, dense river valleys, and lakeside marshes stretching across ancestral southern Europe and into Anatolia. Mirroring its modern relative, the raccoon dog, it features a heavy-set, low-slung body layout supported by short, sturdy limbs. Its thick, long fur likely displays a grizzled canvas of dark charcoal gray, ochre tan, and a prominent black facial mask, providing superb camouflage on shadowy, leaf-littered forest floors. An active nocturnal and crepuscular omnivore, it spends much of its time foraging for soft roots, fallen fruits, insects, and small aquatic vertebrates. It moves with a quiet, slow, and rolling quadrupedal scurry, using its broad paws to expertly dig through loose forest soil and muddy banks. Socially inclined, it often travels in stable pairs, communicating through faint, whistling whines, and low warning growls. Deeply mirrors the modern raccoon dog in procyonoids, in general appearance and stocky silhouette, but carries a more ancestral, slightly more generalized dental structure and primitive skull lines. It is easily distinguished from its chronological descendant, the larger N. Megomastoids, by its more modest, less robust skeletal dimensions. It differs from true foxes, vulpes, by its vastly stouter, less graceful frame layout, a large, robust primitive canine native to the ancient broadleaf woodlands, marshy river basins, and seasonal floodplains of prehistoric Europe. Standing out as a noticeably heavy-set member of its lineage, it exhibits a powerfully built, low-slung body plan with a round cranium and a short snout layout. Its thick, long fur likely displays a disruptive agouti pattern of deep charcoal gray, sandy tan, and a dark facial mask, blending perfectly into dense undergrowth and shadowed forest debris. An active nocturnal and crepuscular omnivore, it relies on specialized crushing maulers to comfortably process wild fruits, roots, and insects alongside small vertebrates. It travels with a slow, deliberate, and rolling quadrupedal scurry along muddy banks and forest edges. Socially inclined, it often moves in pairs and defends territories using high-pitched whistling whines, chatters, and low warning growls. Deeply parallels the modern raccoon dog in procyonoids, in general appearance, but easily distinguished on the ground by its significantly larger overall skeletal dimensions and more robust skull cast lines. It is readily separated from its smaller ancestral relative Indonzani by its heavier jaw profile. It differs from true foxes, vulpes, by its stouter frame layout, a stout, remarkably secretive primitive canine native to the ancient open woodlands, dense river valleys, and lakeside marshes of eastern Asia, with foundational records centered in northern China. Mirroring its modern relatives, the raccoon dogs, it features a heavy-set, low-slung body layout supported by short limbs and a round cranium layout. Its thick, soft pelt likely displays a cryptic canvas of grizzled charcoal gray, sandy buff, and a prominent black facial mask, providing superb concealment within tangled brush. An active nocturnal and crepuscular omnivore, it relies on specialized crushing maulers to comfortably process seasonal roots, fallen fruits, insects, and small rodents. It travels with a slow, deliberate, and rolling quadrupedal scurry along ground debris. Solitary or pair bonding, it communicates through faint, high-pitched whistling whines, chatters, and low warning growls. Deeply parallels the modern common raccoon dog in procyonoids, in general habits and silhouette, but carries a more ancestral, slightly less derived molar structure and primitive skull lines. It co-occurs with other ancient forms, but is easily distinguished from its chronological descendant N. sinensis by its more modest, downsized skeletal proportions layout. It differs from true foxes, vulpes, by its vastly stouter frame profile, a stout, remarkably secretive primitive canine native to the seasonal open forests, rugged foothill shrublands, and riparian plains of the ancient Caucasus region, with foundational records centered in Armenia. Mirroring its closest relatives, the raccoon dogs, it features a heavy-set, low-slung body layout supported by short, sturdy limbs. Its thick, dense fur likely displays a highly adaptive agouti canvas of grizzled charcoal gray, sandy tan, and a prominent black facial mask, providing superb concealment within tangled brush and rocky crevices. An active nocturnal and crepuscular omnivore, it spends much of its time foraging along riverbeds for wild fruits, roots, insects, and small vertebrates. It travels with a slow, deliberate, and rolling quadrupedal scurry, using its broad paws to expertly dig through loose soil. Socially inclined, it often moves in pairs, communicating via faint whistling whines, chatters, and low warning growls. Deeply mirrors the modern common raccoon dog in procyonoids, in general habits and stocky silhouette, but carries more ancestral skull parameters and distinctive regional cranial features. It is separated from co-occurring Western fossil counterparts, like Indonzani and the larger N. Megamastoids by its highly localized Caucasian distribution profile and unique dental measurements layout. It differs from true foxes, vulpes, by its vastly stouter, less gracile frame. A stout, remarkably secretive primitive canine native to the seasonal open forests, dense river valleys, and lakeside marshes of prehistoric Europe. Mirroring its closest relatives, the raccoon dogs, it features a heavy-set, low-slung body plan supported by short limbs and a characteristically round cranium layout. Its thick, long fur likely displays a cryptic canvas of grizzled charcoal gray, sandy buff, and a prominent black facial mask, providing superb concealment within tangled brush and forest floor leaf litter. An active nocturnal and crepuscular omnivore, it relies on specialized crushing maulers to comfortably process seasonal roots, fallen fruits, insects, and small rodents. It travels with a slow, deliberate, and rolling quadrupedal scurry along ground debris. Solitary or pair bonding, it communicates through faint, high-pitched whistling whines, chatters, and low warning growls. Deeply parallels the modern common raccoon dog and Procyonoids in general habits and silhouette, but carries a more ancestral malar structure and primitive skull lines. It is distinguished from other fossil counterparts like N. donzani and the much larger N. megamastoids by highly specific variations in its dental metrics and lower jaw architecture layout. It differs from true foxes, vulpes, by its stouter frame profile. A stout, remarkably secretive primitive canine native to the ancient open forest margins, lakeside marshes, and riparian plains of East Africa, with foundational records centered in the lower Awash Valley of Ethiopia, standing out as a unique African representative of its lineage. It features a heavy-set, low-slung body layout supported by short, sturdy limbs and a round cranium. Its thick, dense pelt likely displays a highly adaptive agouti canvas of grizzled charcoal gray, sandy tan, and a prominent black facial mask, providing superb camouflage when hiding in tangled undergrowth. An active crepuscular omnivore, it relies on specialized crushing maulers to comfortably process a diverse diet of seasonal wild fruits, roots, and insects alongside small mammals or fish caught along wetland margins. It travels with a slow, deliberate, and rolling quadrupedal scurry, using its broad paws to expertly forage through mud and ground debris. Socially inclined, it often pairs up, communicating via faint whistling whines and low warning growls. Deeply mirrors the modern common raccoon dog and Procyonoids in general lifestyle and silhouette, but carries a more ancestral, less derived malar layout. It is easily separated from co-occurring African fossil dogs by its distinctive omnivorous dentition, and from Eurasian relatives like N. donzani and the larger B. megamastoids by its strict African distribution profile. A robust, exceptionally large primitive canine native to the ancient open forest margins, coastal brushlands, and seasonal river basins of North Africa, with foundational tracking records centered in Morocco. Standing out as a notably heavy-set, giant-sized member of its genus, it exhibits a powerfully built, low-slung torso supported by short, stout limbs. Its thick fur likely features a grizzled agouti pattern of deep charcoal gray, dusty tan, and a dark facial mask, providing superb concealment in dense riverside thickets. An active nocturnal and crepuscular omnivore, it relies on uniquely oversized, heavily reinforced maulers to comfortably crush tough vegetation, roots, and hard-shelled invertebrates alongside small mammals. It travels with a slow, deliberate, and rolling quadrupedal scurry along muddy margins. Solitary or pair bonding, it defends territories using faint whistling whines and low warning growls. Deeply mirrors the modern raccoon dog and Procyonoids in general lifestyle, but instantly distinguished on close inspection by its visibly larger overall skeletal dimensions layout. It is easily separated from co-occurring African fossil dogs by its distinctive omnivorous dentition structure. It differs from its contemporary East African relative and Lockwoody and Eurasian forms like N. donzani by its noticeably enhanced malar robusticity profile. A stout, remarkably secretive primitive canine native to the seasonal broadleaf woodlands, dense river valleys, and lakeside marshes of eastern Asia, with foundational records centered in northern China. Mirroring its closest modern relatives, the raccoon dogs, it features a heavy-set, low-slung body plan supported by short limbs and a characteristically round cranium layout. Its thick, dense fur likely displays a highly adaptive agouti canvas of grizzled charcoal gray, sandy tan, and a prominent black facial mask, providing superb concealment within tangled basin brush shadow zones. An active nocturnal and crepuscular omnivore, it relies on specialized crushing maulers to comfortably process seasonal roots, fallen fruits, insects, and small mammals. It travels with a slow, deliberate, and rolling quadrupedal scurry along ground debris. Solitary or pair bonding, it routinely communicates through faint, high-pitched whistling whines, chatters, and low warning growls, deeply parallels the modern common raccoon dog and procyonoids in general habits, but carries a more ancestral molar layout and primitive skull lines. It is readily distinguished from its smaller ancestral counterpart N. tingi by its significantly larger overall body proportions and more heavily reinforced skull cast lines. It differs from true foxes, vulpes, by its stouter frame profile layout, a graceful, lightweight true fox native to the ancient arid plains, shifting sand dunes, and scrubby savanna matrices of northwestern Africa. Exhibiting a slender, delicately built canine frame, it is beautifully adapted for hot environments. Its short coat likely features a pale agouti blend of sandy tan, soft ochre, and cream undertones, paired with large, pointed ears to disperse heat, and a sweeping tail tipped in brilliant white. An active nocturnal and crepuscular generalist, it spends its time scanning open ground for insects, desert rodents, and small reptiles, while also scavenging fallen wild fruits. It moves with a swift, skipping, and remarkably quiet quadrupedal trot across loose sands, occasionally leaping high into the air to pin down fast-moving prey from above. Mostly solitary outside the breeding season, it communicates via high-pitched metallic yaps and raspy warning barks. Visibly prefigures modern desert foxes. It is closely related to the co-occurring V. Rafout, but safely distinguished on the ground by its visibly larger overall body dimensions. It deeply mirrors its direct evolutionary descendant, RPPELLS fox, V. rupelli, but carries subtle, distinct variations in its ancestral dental layout and more primitive cranial outlines. A small, exceptionally graceful true fox native to the seasonal open grasslands, steppe matrices, and river valleys of ancient Eastern Europe, exhibiting a highly agile, lightweight frame tailored for endurance. It has a slender snout profile and a light, elongated skull layout. Its dense, soft pelt likely sports a highly adaptive agouti canvas of sandy tan and grizzled charcoal gray, melting perfectly into sun-bleached grasses and riverbed sediments. An active nocturnal and crepuscular generalist, this versatile omnivore relies on swift, precise leaping mechanics to intercept small rodents and insects, supplementing its diet with seasonal berries. It travels with a light, skipping quadrupedal trot across plains, avoiding prolonged high-speed sprints. Mostly solitary outside the breeding window, it warns intruders away from its underground den, using sharp metallic yaps and raspy warning barks. Deeply mirrors typical modern open country foxes in general body size and silhouette. It co-occurs with various ancient canines, but is easily separated on the ground from more primitive Metalopex generalis by its modern, specialized vulpes skull structure. It is readily distinguished from the early European cave form V. perglacialis by specific localized dental parameters and alternative lineage distribution pathways. A remarkably robust, large-sized primitive fox native to the ancient open savannas, grasslands, and seasonal river basins of prehistoric Eastern Asia, with foundational tracking records centered in the Yush Basin of China, standing out as an exceptionally heavily built member of its genus. It exhibits a sturdy canine frame with a light, elongated skull layout lacking a strong sagittal crest. Its long, dense fur likely displays a cryptic agouti canvas of grizzled charcoal gray and sandy tan tones, balanced by a thick, bushy tail. An active nocturnal and crepuscular omnivore, it relies on powerful jaws to process a varied diet of invertebrates, small rodents, wild fruits, and grasses. It is highly specialized for execution of precise leaps to pin down fast-moving prey, traveling with a nimble quadrupedal trot across broken terrain. Mostly solitary, it routinely communicates through sharp metallic yaps and raspy, warning barks near its underground, raising den, readily separated from typical contemporary dogs. Canis, by its smaller size and flatter skull contours, true to its lineage, it is easily distinguished from smaller relatives, like V. rafout by its vastly more massive body dimensions. It differs from its relative V. dingi by specific dental layout metrics, and from Metalopex generalis by its modern, more specialized vulpes cranial features. An exceptionally tiny, graceful true fox native to the ancient sand dunes, dry lake margins, and arid savanna brushlands of north-central Africa, with ancestral records centered in Chad, potentially representing the absolute earliest canine tracking record in the Old World. It displays a remarkably lightweight frame with an exceptionally narrow, shallow lower jaw layout. Its short, dense coat likely features a highly pale agouti blend of sandy buff and cream undertones, maximized for desert camouflage. An active nocturnal hunter and opportunistic scavenger, it relies on precise leaping mechanics to snap up shore insects, desert rodents, and small lizards. It moves with a swift, skipping, and beautifully silent quadrupedal trot across loose silts. Solitary outside the breeding season, it communicates near its underground burrow systems via high-pitched metallic yaps and raspy chattering squeaks. Deeply prefigures modern desert foxes, but cleanly distinguished on the ground by its unique intermediate size scale. It is noticeably smaller than its successor, RPPELLS fox, V. rupelli, but visibly larger than the micro-sized fennec fox, V. zearda. It differs from Metalopix by its slender, snatching tooth architecture layout, a small, exceptionally graceful true fox native to the seasonal open grasslands, mosaic prairies, and river basins of prehistoric North America. With classical tracking records centered in Oklahoma, it features a highly agile, lightweight frame tailored for endurance and high, leaping mechanics. Its thick, soft fur likely displays a highly adaptive agouti canvas of tawny gold and grizzled charcoal gray, with a long, bushy, white-tipped tail and a characteristically narrow, slender muzzle profile layout. An active crepuscular and nocturnal generalist, it relies on its slender snout to efficiently snatch field insects, rodents, and seasonal wild fruits. It travels with a light, skipping quadrupedal trot across vast open spaces, avoiding prolonged high-speed sprints. Solitary outside the mating season, it communicates with sharp, echoing yaps and raspy, warning barks near its underground, raising den. Co-occurs with early members of the genus Canis, but easily separated on the ground by its flatter skull-cast contours and smaller, under 11 kilograms dimensions. It shares an direct ancestral clade branch layout with its close extant sister taxa V. velox, V. chama, V. rupelli, and V. vulpes, but is safely distinguished from all other co-occurring fossil predators by its highly specific Pliocene time matrix and localized jaw markers. A robust, highly specialized true fox native to the freezing, high-elevation alpine tundras, rocky pass basins, and windswept plateaus of the ancient Himalayas, exhibiting a compact predatory frame built to survive severe climatic conditions. It possesses deeply specialized, sharp-cusped flesh-cutting teeth layout. Its exceptionally dense fur likely displays a winter coat of pristine snow white or slate blue tones, shifting to a grizzled summer canvas to provide flawless camouflage against fractured mountain rocks. Achieving true predator status, this active hypercarnivore stands out from its omnivorous generic relatives by prioritizing a strictly flesh-based diet. It moves with a high-stepping, sure-footed quadrupedal trot across glaciers and gravel plains. Solitary and highly elusive, it relies on silent stalking, communicating near its underground rock dens with sharp warning yips. Closely mirrors its direct living descendant, the modern Arctic fox, V. lagopus, but carries distinct, more ancestral jaw structures and localized tooth metrics. It co-occurs with other cold-adapted Pliocene megafauna, but is easily distinguished from the Tibetan sand fox, V. ferulata, by its significantly sharper, specialized meat-slicing dental array. A small, exceptionally hardy true fox native to the ancient open grasslands, rocky foothill matrices, and cold steppe environments of prehistoric Europe, marking the earliest known tracking record of its genus on the continent. Perfectly adapted for navigating rugged landscapes, it possesses a lightweight, nimble canine body plan built with a slender, elongated skull layout and alert, pointed ears. Its dense fur likely displays a highly adaptive agouti canvas of grizzled charcoal gray and sandy buff tones, providing superb camouflage when sheltering near deep cliffside crevice nets and mountain slope shelters. An active nocturnal and crepuscular generalist, this versatile omnivore relies on swift, precise leaping mechanics to intercept small rodents and bugs. It travels across broken plain terrains with a light, skipping quadrupedal trot, avoiding prolonged sprints. Solitary outside winter pair bonding, it defends its den boundaries with sharp metallic yaps and raspy warning barks. Deeply prefigures the modern red fox, V. vulpes, in general silhouette, but carries a more ancestral, less derived dental layout. It co-occurs with early Pleistocene predators, but is instantly separated from typical jackals and coyotes by its flatter cranium contours and smaller, under 11 kilograms dimensions. It differs from the contemporary Eastern European form V. odysana by its highly localized dental crown parameters and alternative regional habitat track routes. A small, exceptionally agile ancestral fox native to the seasonal mosaic woodlands, river valleys, and open forest steppe matrices of early Pleistocene Eurasia. Prefiguring modern lineages, it features a more diminutive, gracile build compared to living foxes, characterized by a light, elongated skull with narrow jaw lines. Its thick fur likely features a cryptic agouti canvas of dull sandy tan, charcoal gray, and lighter cream underparts, dissolving perfectly into sun-dappled brush shadows and forest floor leaf litter. An active crepuscular and nocturnal generalist. This versatile omnivore relies on highly developed leaping and grasping mechanics to pin down small rodents, birds, and insects. It moves with a swift, skipping quadrupedal trot through thickets, actively avoiding rapid sprints unless pursued. Mostly solitary, it uses underground dens to raise its kits and communicates through sharp territorial yaps and raspy warning barks. Superficially mimics modern open country foxes, but stands out as their direct evolutionary pioneer. It is easily distinguished from its massive chronological descendant, the modern red fox, V. vulpes, by its noticeably smaller skeletal dimensions and less robust skull proportions. It differs from the contemporary Chinese form V. chikushaenensis by specific localized dental metrics and alternative regional habitat track routes. A small, exceptionally graceful true fox native to the seasonal open forests, shrubby river plains, and mosaic woodland matrices of Pleistocene Eastern Asia, with ancestral records centered in China, prefiguring modern lineages. It features a more diminutive, gracile body build compared to living foxes, carrying a light, slender skull with a characteristically narrow muzzle profile layout. Its thick, soft pelt likely sports a highly adaptive agouti canvas of grizzled sandy buff, charcoal gray, and pale cream underparts, blending seamlessly into riverside brush and forest leaf litter shadows. An active crepuscular and nocturnal generalist. It relies on highly developed leaping mechanics to snap up small rodents, ground birds, and seasonal fruits. It moves with a swift, skipping quadrupedal trot through tight undergrowth. Mostly solitary, it uses deep underground dens to rear its young, communicating via sharp territorial yaps and raspy warning barks. Visibly mirrors modern open country foxes in silhouette, but safely separated as an ancestral pioneer branch. It is easily distinguished from its massive chronological descendant, the modern red fox, V. vulpes, by its noticeably smaller skeletal dimensions and less robust jaw proportions. It differs from the contemporary European form V. ellipcoides by specific, highly localized dental metrics and alternative geographic distribution pathways. A small, agile true fox endemic to the ancient rocky savannas, thorn scrub matrices, and high-rimmed dolomitic valleys of early Pleistocene South Africa, traditionally centered within complex cave karst ecosystems. It exhibits a highly lightweight, gracefully proportioned canine frame optimized for an exceptionally nimble lifestyle. Its short, dense coat likely features a highly adaptive agouti canvas of grizzled charcoal gray, sandy tan, and pale cream undertones, providing superb concealment among sun-bleached grasses and deep limestone shadows. An active crepuscular generalist. This versatile omnivore shares its terrain with early hominins, hunting field mice, insects, and small birds while scavenging near water margins. It moves with a swift, skipping, and beautifully light quadrupedal trot across broken terrain. Solitary outside winter pairing cycles. It relies on sharp warning yips and high-pitched chattering calls to protect its den parameters. Deeply mirrors typical modern open country foxes in general dimensions and silhouette. It co-occurs with fossil mongooses and small carnivores, but is safely separated from its close living relative, the Cape fox, V. chama, on close inspection by diagnostic differences in its skull architecture layout and distinct fossilized dental structures. A medium-sized, fox-like conid measuring roughly 80 centimeters in length, native to the ancient desert plains, coastal scrublands, and open floodplains of the prehistoric Baja California peninsula. It features a versatile, well-proportioned body plan built for an active lifestyle. Its thick pelt likely displays a cryptic agouti blend of sandy buff, dusty tan, and charcoal gray highlights, providing excellent camouflage against arid soils, rocky bluffs, and desert brush shadows. An active crepuscular generalist. This highly adaptable omnivore relies on broad, crushing teeth to process a diverse, opportunistic diet of wild fruits, seasonal vegetation, insects, and small desert vertebrates. It travels with a swift, nimble, and steady quadrupedal trot across loose sands and sun-bleached alluvial plains. Mostly solitary or pair bonding, it establishes its presence using faint, metallic chitters and sharp warning yips. Strongly resembles true foxes, vulpes, in basic size and habits, but carries a distinct ancestral lineage layout. On close inspection, it is easily separated from the South American crab-eating fox, Tridocianthaus, by alternative, specialized cranial features. It shares deep anatomical affinities with Metallopix macconnelli, and the raccoon dog lineage, Nycteroides, but remains immediately distinguished from all other contemporary predators by its unique, restricted North American Pacific coast distribution pathway, a small, exceptionally alert omnivorous canine native to the seasonal open grasslands, riverine floodplains, and bush savanna horizons of early Pleistocene southern Asia, with ancestral tracking records centered in the upper Siwaliks of the Siwalik Hills, India. It features a compact, slender torso with noticeably large ears and an elongated, flat skull frame. Its thick, soft pelt likely sports an adaptive canvas of grizzled sandy buff, charcoal gray accents, and lighter underparts, dissolving completely into prairie grass shadows. An active crepuscular forager, it relies on broad paws and an array of specialized grinding teeth to consume insects, termites, and fallen seasonal fruits, alongside small rodents. It travels with a swift, bouncing, and highly agile quadrupedal trot, solitary or moving in family pairs. It warns off competitors from its underground earthen tunnels using high-pitched chattering whistles and sharp warning yips. Deeply prefigures the modern bat-eared fox in overall body shape and silhouette layout, but is easily distinguished by its more primitive, less highly derived dental system layout. It is readily separated from the contemporary African relative P. recce by specific palate curvature parameters, and its exclusive Asian geographic habitat track path. It differs from Vulpes bengalensis by its flatter cranium contours, a small, exceptionally alert omnivorous canine native to the seasonal grasslands, arid lake margins, and thorny savanna breaks of prehistoric East Africa, with foundational records centered in the Olduvai Gorge region of Tanzania. It features a compact, slender canine torso with notably oversized ears and an elongated, light skull frame. Its thick fur likely features an adaptive canvas of grizzled sandy tan, charcoal accents, and pale cream underparts, offering superb camouflage in dry prairie shadows. An active crepuscular forager, it relies on broad paws and a specialized array of grinding teeth to consume ground insects, termites, and seasonal wild fruits, alongside small rodents. It travels across open plains with a swift, bouncing, and highly agile quadrupedal trot, solitary or pair bonding. It defends its earthen den boundaries using high-pitched chattering whistles and sharp warning yips. Deeply prefigures the modern bat-eared fox in overall body shape and silhouette, but carries a more primitive, less highly derived dental system layout. It is readily distinguished from the contemporary Asian relative P. curvipulatus by alternative palate metrics and its strict African distribution layout.